And we are live for the Chicago Bulls Milwaukee Bucks post-game show. It's Marcus Couch, Pat the designer, and Jay back there in the cut. 119 to 113 is our final score in some DeMar DeRozan heroics in overtime that, quite frankly, we didn't deserve to win this game if it weren't for Giannis and his 7 fouls in the game.
7.
Yet he still managed to close it out. What a wild one that we had here at the UC. Quite frankly, man, I didn't think that we would pull this one out, but Pat, your impressions on this game?
There's still a lot of bad, right? But here's the thing. At the end of the day, it's just about finding a way to win sometimes. And the Bulls found a way to win. That way was DeMar DeRozan. I have been the first one to come out and try and tell you that, hey, DeMar's not doing enough. DeMar's taking away from the offense. DeMar's the reason that the Bulls are losing in a lot of situations. But I'm not going to disrespect DeMar DeRozan today. Well, I'll be the first one to criticize you. I will also be the one to give you the praise when the praise is due, and DeMar DeRozan's praise is due tonight. He played a heck of a game tonight, and he put the Bulls on his back. I mean, these are the games that we saw from DeMar last season all the time, and now it's good to see him kind of working his way back into some of these games.
With a little bit of defense added in there as well. DeMar is cooking.
That will always piss me off. I'm not going to lie. Well, I wasn't going to mention the defense because no matter what, the fact that he's like, okay, now I'll defend, pisses me off to no end.
Okay, so if I could sum up like my heart during this entire game, it's this overlay right here. Like, geez, man, like what the hell? What is going on? So
well, I mean, you saw us. You saw it. It was a 2-point game with what? 6 seconds left?
Yeah.
We weren't calling the game like the Bulls had a chance. We were calling the game like the Bulls were going to be the Bulls again.
Yeah, and once again, Io saved the game. Io saved it.
He made the dunk. I think the steal leads a little bit more to the dunk. Good dunk by Io. Should have been that was Giannis's 14th foul at that point. But
I told y'all, I'm the winner of this game. Come on now.
I mean, listen.
Don't be throwing smoke at me.
At the end of the day, there's still a lot wrong, right? There's still a lot of issues. I don't feel like the Bulls are back. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a lack of respect for Billy Donovan and his offensive system. I feel like there's a lack of respect for Billy Donovan and his defensive system. I feel like there's a lack of respect for Billy Donovan as a whole from this team. Zach LaVine basically just didn't do enough tonight. I mean, honestly, right? Like Giannis my $200 million player. I mean, 24, 2-4 is nice, but I didn't feel it. You know what I mean? Like it didn't feel like it was impactful in tonight's win. But DeMar 42, 10, and 5 did. And I mean, honestly, shout out to the Bulls for this one. There's a lot to fix, but I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier to fix stuff from the standpoint of a win than a loss.
I agree. Zach is like the bread at the restaurant. You know, you get filled up on it. You're right, not quite sure, and you don't really remember where it came from, but you're filled. Hey, we're gonna go into our first call here, 773 area code.
Hey, what you got on my 40, homie? What you got on my 40, homie?
Say what's good.
No, I'm just playing, man. Look, I'm gonna end up being on more high blood pressure medication after watching this. And this game was too much, man. I'm telling you, man. My heart been racing. The fact that Io came to, well, I ain't surprised he came through in the clutches. I mean, he's proven time and time again. He can be trusted in the clutches, but I'm gonna say this. Look, yeah, I know they're a good team and all, but at the end of the day, we probably should have won this game in the fourth quarter. Man, look, I understand that they're a good team, and that's understandable, and that's all well and good, but. Man, this team irritates me so much. And another thing, somebody please smack the shit out of Grayson Allen because he's doing too much. I'm sorry, smack him, just hit him hard in his face one good time.
That's what Dalen Terry was supposed to do when he was in the game, but
Hey, Tony Bradley, somebody. I will say this, right? And appreciate the call as always, Shay. Appreciate the love, bro. Shay always showing love to the
All
channel.
right, thanks, love it.
Been a big supporter. The one thing that I will say is this. I look at this team and I didn't like how they bounced back off of the squabbles from Grayson Allen. It looked like it shook them. It looked like DeMar looked like he was ready to go to war. Let's go. We coming out here. Okay, y'all want to do this? That's how y'all want to play. But I thought that, for the most part, it shook the rest of the team. You didn't see them come out and fight. You didn't see them come out and show this dominance. In fact, in the second quarter, let me double check. Let me make sure. In the second half, the Bulls scored 22 points in the third. Now, listen, Milwaukee didn't score the ball well in the fourth at all either, 24 points, but you only had 27 points. The Bulls didn't crack 30 points at all tonight.
Yeah.
The Bulls didn't crack 30 points at all tonight.
In the game at the buzzer.
Can you hear this?
Just the margins are so small.
Yeah, I hear it. I hear it.
You have to really, really compete. And I've said it before.
Billy Donovan live at the post.
To put yourself in a position. And I think our guys really played incredibly hard, and they battled and they fought. And, there's things we can get better at execution wise, but the compete rate needs to be like that, for us to, be, for us to reach our potential, so to speak.
Billy, we've asked you this before, and I know you need to play more consistently overall, but the fact that you're 7-1 against Boston, Milwaukee, Heat, Nets to this point, does that kind of subscribe to your theory that, we're getting hardened now that may pay dividends down the road?
Point shaving.
That record against those teams.
Well, I mean, we talked a lot coming into training camp, about playing against the best teams. And I think we've competed well against those teams. But, some of these other games, I think that we haven't, performed and competed and played at the level we had against some of the teams you just mentioned. That's the disappointing part to me. We got to be the same group every night. And like I said, if you look at like the net margins of teams from 20 to 30, they're losing their net margins a handful of possessions. Their record, you know what I mean? So we've got to, this is why I'm kind of on the consistency part. We got to be better in those areas. Because when we don't have that kind of margin or room for error, so to speak. So, it's good to see us compete against teams. Listen, tonight's game could have gone either way, right. But we competed and played, and we've got to play like that all the time. We just do, and we've got to,
that's the key.
All try to hold each other to that standard.
DeMar's obviously had a lot of good performances, but just kind of what you like the most about the way he played, especially late.
Honestly, I
what
loved
a
his
wasted
passing
question.
Tonight. I love the trust level that he showed throwing the ball to Io in the corner, or throwing the ball to Io on the wing, pat in the corner. Like, he made some really good passes, and those guys didn't shoot the ball well on those shots, but the trust level, we need that. I think DeMar's smart enough to understand that there's going to be times that they're going to send two people, and he's got to trust them. And I just respected and appreciated the way he, shared the ball and tried to generate shots for some other guys. Obviously his scoring, when he gets to his areas of the floor, he's great. And he just, I think, has a spirit about him that he just feels like he's going to overcome whatever obstacles in front of him, whatever challenge in front of him. But I thought all the way around on both ends of the floor, I thought he played an unbelievable game. And I get the 42 points, but there were so many other things that he did to contribute to the win.
Billy, you took a timeout between Allen's
unfortunately,
two free
one of
throws
those
after
obstacles
that,
is Zach LaVine.
Whatever that was. And I know you do that. That's your habit of calling timeout between free throws. But correct me if I'm wrong. It looked like you were talking to Allen there. Did you have an issue with that play, or were you talking to Allen? Did I see something
with
wrong?
Grayson Allen?
Yeah.
No. I wasn't talking to Grayson. I called timeout.
According to the league, yeah.
The officials.
Okay.
I didn't say nothing.
Because I just thought the game was an incredibly physical game. And I just felt like on the play, Patrick definitely had two hands on the guy. Right. But there was, I think, a good sale. It was good gamesmanship on the play. And I understand things got heated there, but I was voicing the foul discrepancy, and
because Giannis
the
had
officials,
7.
I thought, did a great job of handling me and communicating with me and talking to me. That's why I called the timeout, was to talk to them.
I've never heard a coach say
That's all I
that.
did. And again,
That's called I got to keep this money in my pocket.
Yeah.
Professional and explain things to me, and it was fine. I was
20
I was
grand,
really
Billy.
just trying to
All
stand
right,
up for our
yep,
guys.
you're
Because
right.
our guys were competing, and that third quarter, it was just every possession. It was free throw after free throw after free throw, and I thought at times our guys were in pretty good position. And Giannis is a hard guy to defend, and probably a hard guy to officiate. I mean, he's a great player, and the best in this league, one of the best in the league, and he's hard, and he gets to the rim. There's a lot of contact, and we really tried to make a concerted effort to not foul. And I don't know. I'm getting some of those in the third quarter, right at the end of the court. I don't have a great view of it, but that was what I
don't
was
have a
talking
great
to them
view.
What did you make of DeMar's response to that play?
I didn't quite see exactly what happened, but for him to respond like that, something happened. DeMar was a pretty even-keeled guy, and he got hit in a way that he didn't appreciate. And again, some of it may have been Patrick foul of him. It was like inadvertent, so to speak. You know what I mean? And it was kind of a weird. But DeMar didn't know that at the time. I don't think DeMar, I think, was talking more to Portis at that time. Of when that was going on, but it wasn't even about that, because they were checking to see if there was maybe some kind of flagrant on DeMar, and it ended up being a foul on Patrick. So we were obviously at fault, in terms of how the thing started. Because
I don't like how they just were like, oh yeah, it's not a foul on Patrick Williams, or it's not a foul on Grayson Allen.
The way he got hit, maybe didn't see the play. I don't know, but for him to respond that way is just he's I think pretty even keeled.
The job Patrick did on Giannis, I mean, he has huge numbers, but this is asking the guy a lot. How do you think he competed?
I thought Patrick really competed and did a great job. And there's things you got, like you can shut off the first move, but then the spins and the pivoting and the length and the size, there's counters to that. And it's hard to take away, 2 things, 3 things to him. The thing to me that I thought we could have done a much better job, DeMar did it. We had 1 charge in the game, and for the amount of time that he was going to the rim, I felt like we needed to put our body in front of him, and Patrick needed some help with some more bodies there. And I think some of that stuff, to be quite honest,
He will said, "Help me!"
Getting to the free throw line, and honestly, they were probably the fouls. But I thought Patrick's effort in terms of the way he battled was terrific.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, Billy.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Billy. Whatever.
Coach Billy Donovan at the podium. I think, here's the thing. What's he gonna say? At the end of the day, there's 2 things that kill you. And Jay was looking up the stats. Jay, how did the Bucks even compete in this game?
Connaughton didn't even score.
What?
Grayson Allen shot 16 shots and made 4 buckets. And that's about sums it up.
Yeah, it's just Giannis. It's just Giannis. Giannis. Hey, what is that? Just Giannis.
Yep.
It was nothing else. And here's the thing. I get, right, like, there's still some problems that I have with this team as a whole, right? And I told y'all, I'm not gonna feel good about this team until we're talking about 5 games above 500. I stand on that.
Yeah.
But you've won 4 or 5 games. You snuck a game out here that I think that there were some issues, but you've won 4 of your last 5. You lost the game to the Rockets that you probably should have won. But I'll rather have this one, I guess, in general. And you're moving, oddly enough, the right way. And some nights you have games like this. Let's not act like some nights you don't have games like this. Let's not act like some nights teams haven't just had to rely on LeBron. Let's not act like some nights teams. The Milwaukee Bucks tonight, 110% relied on Giannis.
I can put another stat there. The Bucks had 18 more shot attempts than the Bulls this tonight.
Yeah.
And that's not even talking free throws.
18 more shots.
That's actually kind of crazy with how slow the Bucks offense is.
They had 110 shots to 92.
No, but that's not crazy. You know what that speaks to? That speaks to how many, and a big problem that the Bulls have, and I don't know what the reluctance is to run it in this game, the second chance opportunities.
That's absolutely it.
The second chance opportunities. I mean, yeah, I got 18 more shots. You know why? Because I snatched what, 12 more rebounds, 13 more rebounds. Yeah. And literally, if you look at it, like the Bulls out rebounded them on the defensive glass. The Bucks had 22 offensive rebounds.
Good God. Hey, Pat, we're going to go to our next caller here in the 859. How you doing, caller?
Hey, this Big C down here in Kentucky.
Hey.
Big C, what's good?
Everything y'all saying is on point. But what's aggravating me is that in the late comeback, I did not see our $200 million man do anything. I saw the old guy who nobody believed in last season doing everything.
Yep.
But our $200 million man, where was he?
Yeah.
And I know Shady popped on. He was talking about blood pressure medication. I think he was going to watch the game tonight. I take blood pressure medication. I'm stressed.
Yeah, they should come a warning on these games.
So my view is not as hard as my analysis is not as in depth as y'all. Yep. But I just want to get y'all take on where's our $200 million man in the late comeback when the old guy who nobody believed in last year is still bringing it this year.
Yeah,
I'm gonna hang up and listen.
All right, thanks, man. Appreciate you,
BC. I'll say this: the conversations that we're not privy to with Zach LaVine, Stacey has kind of talked about a little bit on the air, and he said that Zach told him that he's finally starting to feel like he's getting his speed back, finally starting to feel like he's starting to play back to the normal him. That would speak to the fact that Zach hasn't felt like himself on the court for most of this season. But again, you get paid that money. You don't get that excuse, right? You don't get that excuse off of the beginning of the season. And Zach hasn't done as well. He didn't play bad in this game. 24 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. Only had 1 turnover in this game. He was 4 for 7. I think he just played like a sidekick.
I don't mind Zach's performance right now.
Yeah.
If we're winning and he comes on late in the season and brings us through into the playoffs.
And that's the part that a lot of us have to remember as well. That I know it sucks to hear, and in the moment you don't want to hear that, right?
We're in game 34, Pat.
No, 100%. I'm not about to say it's early at all. I'm definitely not about to tell you it's early. But the part that sucks to hear is that it's what DeMar DeRozan said last year. And once he said it, right, I've kind of watched teams a lot closer. Teams don't care in the first half of the season.
No, not anymore.
No one cares the first 40 games of the year. Yeah. Like you play to get position, you play to put yourself in a position to win. You try to play to be at the top of the Eastern Conference. Of course, I'm not saying that that's an excuse for anything, and I'm not saying it's an excuse for where this Bulls team is at. But I do have to look at the fact that I'm going to be 100%. Ton of issues, ton of things they got to work on. You still have to look at the fact that over your last 5 games, you're 4 for 5. Over your last 5 games, you beat some teams that you didn't think you were going to beat, in the Knicks, who absolutely dominated you for 2 games, and Atlanta, who broke your heart. Not to say you didn't think you could beat them, but you thought they'd play a little bit better with DeJounte Murray coming back. They've got their own issues down there. Right now, you beat the Milwaukee Bucks for the 2nd time this year. You've beaten Boston twice this year, right? Like,
We'll
can't just say
East wins, man. They're East wins. We'll take that.
You know what I mean? And here's the thing. I don't even think that this is a win that I'm like, yeah, this tells me the Bulls are going to be a top 5 seed in the East.
It's the fact that we're 4th in our own division. Not conference, division.
I forgot we had those.
Yeah. It used to mean something.
Did it really? Did it really?
Yeah,
did winning the division really mean something?
Pretty much your playoffs was the division winners.
Oh, that's true, I guess. Yeah, I didn't think about that. That's a fact, actually. Yeah. That's tough. I'm glad they changed that.
I could never get past the Pistons or the Cavs to get in, and that was the big milestone for us back in the 90s.
I'm glad they changed that. No, I just think, right, like with Zach LaVine, to me, don't hate how he played tonight. It just didn't feel like he was the guy tonight. And I feel like that's been the feeling for more games this season than not. And that's why people are upset about the fact that he's getting paid $215, right? Like, listen, there's some nights where Klay Thompson's the guy. There's some nights where Kyrie Irving's the guy. There's some nights where, like your number 2 is supposed to be able to have those nights. That's why he's your number 2. We've talked about Chris Middleton having those nights where you're like, man, if Chris Middleton doesn't get 30 tonight, he doesn't win. They don't win. The problem is Zach LaVine has been played like your number 2 most of the season this year. And yeah, there's probably some working yourself back into it. There's probably some getting your body right. It's hard. It's hard to say right after I paid you $215 million, hey, it's okay. Take your time.
Well, Billy keeps saying in these press conferences our margin of error is slim. And what he's basically saying is we don't have the talent.
We don't have the talent. No, 100%. And I think that goes to and we could talk about this as well, right? It goes to the fact that, right, like you came into this game down 3 players and you left it down 4.
Losing
Kobe White goes out. That's a major rotation piece. Javonte Green played well. By the way, Billy Donovan treats Javonte Green like Tom Thibodeau would. Like straight off of an injury, get out there, run, play up.
Hey, we got another call, Pat.
Let's do it.
219. What's good? Hello.
Oh, okay. I can talk now.
Yeah. What's up?
What's good, Marcus? What's good, Pat? This is Jamal, man.
Hey, Jamal.
Jamal, what's going on, brother?
Hey, I haven't been able to do it in a while, but I got to bring it out. From now on, that's how you play. From now on, that's how you play.
Hey, Maul, let's be real. Only the last 4 minutes. Only the last 4 minutes.
Oh. Look, I was right there with you guys. I literally was in Taco Bell getting me some food. I kid you not. As overtime was, as the taco was winding down, the last 30 seconds of regulations. And I'm just up there biting my nails. I done bit my nails to the nub and everything like that. I'm up here going crazy. We tied the game. I'm like, come on, y'all. Just get this ball in, give it to DeMar. Of course, he botched the pass. He went to overtime. My mind is this is how long the Taco Bell line is. It goes to overtime, and I don't finish it until I don't get out the Taco Bell line until after the game is over. So that lets you know how long that line was. But as we win the game, I'm going insane in the Taco Bell line. I had all the white people in line looking at me like, what's going on with this dude up here in this Chevy crew?
Jamal.
Why is he going insane right now? Yeah.
Yo, Jamal, you at least had better timing if you didn't eat those tacos like before the overtime, because then you're going to miss it running to the bathroom.
Hey, man, don't disrespect Taco Bell. It's been there for me on many a drunk night.
Look, I had to. I was so like, whoa, don't let this food come out because I'm so. It's right outside. I just made it home, and I've been waiting to talk to you guys. I didn't even touch the food. I'm like, I'm not touching it until after I talk to you guys.
Hey.
But look, at the end of the day, I'm with guys. I want Zach. He's $215 million. You have to play better. But 24 ain't bad. 24 points ain't bad. It's not what I want from him, but it's not bad. Tonight was just all DeMar DeRozan. It was just really DeMar had it going from the very beginning of the game. He was going to keep us in it. So, like you said, you can't shame him tonight. You got to applaud this man tonight.
I'll take any victory over a Giannis team any day.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%. And I think the big thing for me and Maul, appreciate the love as always, brother. Always showing love to the channel, man. Stay safe out there, all right, my boy.
Always. Will do.
I think the biggest thing as you leave out of this game is right. Okay, how do you build off of this? How do you get to that next step? How do you get to that next level? How do you build off of this? This is a big win. This is a big win. Like, I know after Houston, right, people are like, we suck. And listen, we do.
We ain't great. We're not great, but
we're not great.
In the NBA, any team can beat any team. Just remember that too.
And I think that's the thing with this season. And listen, I was watching. I don't know if y'all watched that game yesterday. Houston was playing Boston pretty well. Now, granted, all until Boston was like, okay, we're gonna beat you.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is mentally, that's what the Bulls are. They want to be that team, but they're not that team. You know what I'm saying? They're 7-1 versus the Bucks, the Celtics, the Nets, and the Heat. That team in their mind probably thinks, hey, we can turn it on versus anybody. No, you can't. But what I will ask, and I'll ask the chat, comment in. Appreciate you guys. Call into the channel. Appreciate you guys for showing love. I will ask this. What did he say? He said, if I ever, CC said, or Chef C said, or Chief C, my bad, said, if I ever suggest that we trade DeMar, slap me 3 times. I want to ask you guys this. When you're looking at this team based on what we were last season, where we couldn't get a win versus these teams, to where now we're 7-1 versus these teams with a subpar 500 record versus the teams that don't matter. Is there some pacing that's happening here?
Well, I think the biggest problem is the fact that there's no killer instinct anywhere in the game except the end of the game.
I agree.
Oh, snap.
I agree.
We didn't study for the test. We better cram something on the way in, right? If it's got that vibe to it, like you said during the live call, it feels like they don't even practice.
Yeah, it does. Hey, bro. It was Goran Dragic came to the top of the key, and Zach was like, "What are we doing?" And I was like, "What do you mean? The game's happening right now." No, I asked that because, right, like, I think that there's times where I look at this team versus the best competition, and I say, they want to show the best competition that they're not punks, but then they lose to some of the subpar competition. Is there some pacing that's happening with this team? Are they saying, listen, we know when we got to take our nights off, we're going to take some of these nights off. And it's just pissing us off because we don't believe that this team should be there yet.
Well, and also some of the bench guys that are supposed to fulfill the role in those games a little bit more don't.
Or haven't been there.
Yeah.
And that's major, right? Like, I know, like, when people look at this team, they say, oh, the Bulls have Zach, the Bulls have DeMar, the Bulls have Vooch. They should be fine. Not having rotation pieces.
Minutes.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, not having rotation pieces is a major issue. That really is. Like, that's a major, like, I don't know if anybody's played organized basketball or not in the chat. I'm sure many of us have, right? But, like, when you don't have your guy that gives you 10 minutes of rest, you feel that.
Oh, yeah.
That's not something that, like, is just to be scoffed at. Oh, we don't have Alex Caruso tonight. That's fine. Like, that's not something to be scoffed at. I'm not saying, listen, I'm right there with y'all. I still don't believe this team is gonna turn it around, and I'm not there until they show me I'm there. Honestly. I'm just not. I'm not there until they show me I'm there.
Okay.
I mean,
I want to address this comment in the chat from Luke.
Let's do it.
Lonzo won't be back till at least after February. I'd say way after February, meaning next October is when he'll be back. He is coming back this year.
And here's the thing from me with the Lonzo situation. You're not, I don't want to say you're not one role player away, because Lonzo's more than a role player. I feel like that's disrespectful to say. He really does. There's a lot of stuff with this game where if Lonzo's in this game, there's a lot of different things we don't have to worry about. And Ayo gets the opportunity to be a young player.
Yeah.
But you're not just a Lonzo Ball away from all your problems going away.
No way.
You're not.
We need a consistent 3-point threat on this team, and we have.
Well, that is Lonzo. That is Lonzo. I'm not going to say it's not. Lonzo's 40% from literally everywhere behind the arc when you look at his splits. It is Lonzo. But the problem is, that's not the Lonzo we're going to get back. Lonzo Ball hasn't played basketball in over a year. He hasn't, like, dribbled a basketball. He just put up, like, free throws and jump shots. a week ago.
The dude cannot go upstairs still.
That's a big problem.
Yeah, it may end his career.
Well, he's back to walking up the stairs. I thought you meant like dunking the basketball. He's back to walking up the stairs. You know who's a good idea? Didn't what's his name just come back from this? Out in LA. Point guard.
Schroeder?
No. The one Kevin Nunn? Kendrick
Nunn?
Kendrick Nunn just came back. It took him a full year.
And how's he playing?
Terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible.
The one thing that I will say is also Kendrick Nunn. But he's not, like he's still not in basketball shape. Like you can look at him and be like, he's not in basketball shape.
Yeah.
He's not ready to play this game.
Hey, Marcus,
you got to work yourself back into this.
Shout out to you, Marcus Moore. Thank you for the super chat. And your team just lost by 1 to the Pelicans. What's your team? Who just lost to the Pelicans?
Let's see who just lost to the Pelicans because they got to watch a bunch of games tonight.
It was
Minnesota just lost by 1 to the Pelicans.
Oh.
Hopefully LeVar Ball can get Lonzo back in shape.
I'm not gonna lie to you. Shut up. hey, I'm not gonna lie to you. I was wrong about the Pelicans. Or about the I was right about the Pelicans. I was wrong about Minnesota.
Their two big men are hurt. They haven't been playing.
Yeah, but even when they were on the court, it was just like, hey, Cat, like you wanted to be the shooting power forward here. Shoot.
When's the last time you've been on the floor together? It's been like 20 games.
Yeah, Zion's gonna look mean in 2 years on the Knicks.
Zion ain't going nowhere.
He
ain't leaving that gumbo.
I don't know about that.
He ain't leaving that gumbo. And listen, don't ever go to the Knicks. The Knicks are where you go to die, bro. Let's be real. Oh man. Hey, I gotta go do Locked On, man. I appreciate y'all for showing love. Marcus,
right.
you gonna keep the calls cracking, Marcus?
Yep. We got a couple calls in the queue here. We're gonna run through these and talk to the chat and wrap this one up. So
hey, keep it going. Man. Appreciate you guys for showing love. Bulls win. See Red Nation. Stay in here. Keep rocking with Marcus Couch. Make sure you call into the show. I'll see y'all later, man.
All right, Pat. Thanks. Appreciate you. And we're going to go out to the 512 area code. How you doing, caller?
Hey, man. What's going on, man? I just wanted to say real quick, man, we can't no longer as fans can we ever criticize DeMar ever again.
Well, sure we can.
I don't want to hear trade talks about DeMar. Don't move DeMar. Don't touch DeMar. Okay, Zach has got to play better. I think we've touched on that before. But Zach's got to play better, and we need to go get Jay Crowder. I've said this before, and I know I was kind of shut down on it. But then I've heard like little talks about Bulls and Jay Crowder. I think we should definitely go get Jay Crowder, and I think we should definitely go get another 4/5. We need somebody to come behind Patrick Williams to help out, man. Look, I see how you're looking right now.
We need a 3-point shooter,
crazy,
man.
But I really believe this is true.
Okay. Well, I don't know, man. Jay Crowder, I don't think is the solution for us. I just don't.
He's a consistent 3-point shooter. He's a great defender, and he's going to bring some heart to the team.
Yeah, but for what cost? What are we going to get Crowder for? What are we giving up?
Javonte. They do the exact same thing.
You think they're going to take Javonte Green for Jay Crowder?
I mean,
straight up.
I'm pretty sure we can squeeze something else in there. I mean, you can, I don't have all the insight on it, but I'm pretty sure they can find something to make.
Well, if I could do Javonte Green straight up, yeah, I'll take that. Sure.
I mean, he's on a holdout anyway. It's not like they're getting anything.
Yeah, but what holding out for what? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a tough one. That's super tough.
For sure. Well, I appreciate you letting me call in, man. And
thanks for calling.
I'll let you get some of these other ones in.
All right. Thanks again, man. Have a good one. All right. Let's go out to the 773. How you doing, caller?
Hello?
Yeah. What's up?
Hey, tough take for you, real quick. What do you think about Zach LaVine being the Bulls' version of Jay Cutler?
What, being able to just get you there and never take it over the goal line?
Yeah, like terrible leadership qualities, unmotivated, talented, but can never perform when you need him to. At least for this season.
Well, it's like I said before, this is only game number 34. Okay. We've got a lot of basketball left here. You got 48 games left in the season. So let's let these guys get on the back nine, so to speak, and be able to turn on appropriately. Wouldn't you think that we, at least as fans, should do that? At least give them a little bit after the All-Star break before we start to
give
blow
him
it
a
up?
year. Let's see how, because we don't know if he's still dinged up from the knee surgery or if he's still having issues. But let's give him a year. But I'm not liking the fact that we have, how was it, DeMar, like 33-year-old DeMar leading your team. When you're quote unquote the franchise guy, you got the bag. This is when you need to step up. Because, once this contract's up, if you want another one, teams are going to look at this.
Well, he's got a player option for next year. So it's up to him if he wants to stay or not.
Yeah.
And then who else? Drummond has a player option that he can extend for another year if he'd like to. I bet he does. I bet he seems to like Chicago a lot.
Yeah.
Io, I think, is going to be an expensive re-sign because I think this is the last year of his contract, being a second rounder. So it's going to be crazy if we see Io like on the Bucks or with Luka or
I'll
something.
be sad if they let go. They can't let
upset.
Io go, man.
Yeah, he's going to be expensive though. He's going to be a tough one to keep. Hopefully the cap gets increased a little bit for that one, but
yeah, hopefully. But thanks for letting me call, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you. All right. And let me put the graphic up here for the phone number. What do you guys like one? This one or this one? I could go either way. I think the Grayson Allen hate is probably more severe on this. We'll take one more caller. If you want to call in, the number is 773-900-8097. And we're going to take that call right now in the 859. What's up?
Hey, this is Big C from Kentucky calling back.
Yeah.
I just wanted to follow up. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all said a lot of things about Zach. Like, his play tonight was good. But my main focus was that when they were trying to come back, he was non-existent. And that's a $200 million man. I didn't see him score a bucket. Now tell me, maybe you did. I didn't see it. You didn't score a bucket. You know what I'm saying? And we trying to come back against Giannis, who doing things that ain't never happened in the UC before. But our $200 million man didn't do nothing.
You gotta give him, but you gotta give him time.
Off last year as a bad signing was like breaking his neck, and he put this team on our back to get this win. I just want to address that. I want to hear about that.
But here's the thing, man, is you got to give this is only game 34 out of 82. So
you said that. Yeah, I got that.
But so you got to get, he's coming back from surgery. He's coming back from injury. He's starting to get his quickness back and he feels it, and you start to see it in the last couple of games. But I get that he didn't contribute in the way that we may have wanted to in this, but understand, man, this is a Giannis team, and Zach pretty much took on a defensive role in this game rather than a point scorer. And I think he did pretty decent.
I get 100. So another thing that bothers me is that his response to he was being grilled. It might have been K.C. Johnson about the rumors came out about him wanting to be traded away. It was just his response. Also, it made me feel a little funny. I didn't believe him.
It's bullshit. That's bullshit.
The horse's mouth.
Yeah, that's bullshit. It's not. I don't believe a word of that. because
Okay, I feel you.
if he wanted to get traded, he was an unrestricted free agent this year that could have got a max deal
He sure
anywhere.
was.
So why wouldn't he have done it 4 months ago when he could have had the chance to do it anywhere?
Because they said he wanted to play for the Lakers, and the Lakers ain't had the money.
Do they have the money now?
They don't. But
Well, then what are we
if we can't
talking
afford to
about here?
play, we can do. The NBA can do things. I mean, I'm just saying, like, I'm just uncomfortable with a whole lot of what's going on, and like with him not being there, and all this old drama about him not being able to play with DeMar. I just don't get it. Like, you're a dynamic two guard. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to play with DeMar. You know what I'm saying? You should be able to coexist with him. But it's just not happening. And I don't know if it's the injury, him working his way back. It's early in the season. The rumors are just BS, but it's like it's concerning for me.
All right. Well, two things. One, it's not our money, that $215 million.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm more outraged at Felicio making $15 million a year than I am with Zach. Right? So let's put it in perspective. I mean, we got a pretty decent team that, can fight with some good ones when they get the heart and they get the hustle and they can put their mind to it. And that's, I think, the most frustrating thing about this team, especially this year, is that it's injuries, obviously, because we don't have Lonzo. But I mean, we did get help for that. We did get Dragic. We did get others on the team that could help fill that gap a little bit. Io is in a sophomore slump. He's not. He's starting to come on. He's starting to come on, but I think we just got to give him the benefit of the doubt. They're going to be shorthanded against. Actually, Detroit will be shorthanded on Friday when we take them on because of that fight that happened. I don't know if you caught any action of that back of the head forearm. So
I did.
Let's give them the benefit of the doubt, man. Let's keep our red gear on and support the team, and I think they'll pull it out in the end.
I'm here. I'm stressed out. That's all I can say.
We all are. All right, man. Well, thanks again for your call. Appreciate you.
Have a good one.
You too. All right, fans. Well, hey, I want to thank you all for joining me on this post-game show. It's been, man, what a wild day in terms of this game. This has been absolutely crazy. But I want to thank everybody for calling in. I want to thank everybody in the chat. I want to thank Marcus Moore for your super chat. And Bulls get the win in overtime. So thanks again, everybody. Go Bulls.